everybody, welcome to Kimmel'sIrishPub.com. Time for another movie review. Tonight's movie is The Last Flag Flying. I'm going to give you a quick couple of numbers, 7.2 in IMDb, 73% Rotten Tomatoes, the critics, 72% from the audience, so it's kind of up there. That's pretty good numbers, I think. I'm not sure if you've heard of it. I don't know how I stumbled across it, but it should be pretty popular. Steve Carell's in it, Lawrence Fishburne, and Bryan Cranston. So, I mean, there's three powerful actors right there that I think can stand alone on their own movie, so this should be pretty interesting. It's about three Marine vets who are 30 years removed from the Vietnam War, and they reunite because one of the veterans' son has died, and he was a Marine as well, so he dies, I think, from Iraq, and they're getting together for the funeral. And it's supposed to be a drama and a comedy. I mean, Steve Carell, Bryan Cranston, you can see it happening. So I don't know much more than that. I didn't read into it anymore. Found it, added it to my wish list. It's time to make my wishes come true and watch this. So I'm going to get into it a little bit more and let you know really what the plot is about. And I'll check in as much as needed. See you, everybody. Want to jump in here real quick, do a quick check-in. 41 minutes and 4 seconds. The Last Flag Flying. Steve Carell, Lawrence Fishburne, Bryan Cranston. Seem like a lot of potential and might be good. It's very heavy right now. So Steve Carell comes into, I believe, Virginia. Now I was ready to stop it right there. He comes into a bar and Yingling Lager's on tap and Pabst Blue Ribbon. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And Bryan Cranston is the bartender there. So evidently they were buddies back in Nam. Then they recognize each other and start to talk. And Steve Carell gets Bryan Cranston to go to church, where Lawrence Fishburne is the pastor there. So then once he's with them, they all have dinner, whatever, they're catching up. They haven't seen each other in like 30 years. And he shares with them that not only has his wife just recently died of breast cancer, but 2 days ago his son died in the Iraq War, which we know from the synopsis. And he is asking the two of them to go with him to have his son buried in Arlington, with honors and everything like that. So very heavy so far. They're trying some comedy with there is some jokes in it, but I don't feel like laughing. Not really something I was hoping to watch. I thought it was going to be maybe a comedy of errors and stuff like that. I understand that the theme of it or the plot line could be a little bit touchy, but it's very heavy at this part. So anyway, they get to they actually go to Dover, Delaware, where his son was delivered in the casket, and he goes to see him. And originally they were saying he died in an ambush and he died fighting with his gun in his hand, and then it comes out from his best friend who happens to be there and tells him that's not what really happened. And so he explains what really happened, and now because of this, Steve Carell wants to take his son home and bury him at home instead of at Arlington. So we'll see where it goes from here. Not a lot of laughs so far, although it does say it's a comedy. Not yet. But I'll keep watching, and I'll check in again. Maybe it'll be a little bit more uplifting, hopefully. And we'll see where it goes. All right, stay tuned. I'll be back. Hey everybody, we're at the credits of The Last Flag Flying. Like I said, I was going to do a couple more check-ins. There was a lot to share, but then I got close to the end, so I was like, we'll just wait to the end. Never really picked up, in a sense, mood-wise. There were some smile moments, so ultimately they decide to take Steve Carell's son back to New Hampshire, and he wants to bury him back there where he grew up, and not in Arlington. So they have to transport him, and the Marines offer to transport him free of charge for them, but Steve Carell doesn't want that to happen, so he wants to transport him himself. So he enlists his two ex-Vietnam friends who he was in Vietnam with, and so they take this trek back from Virginia up to New Hampshire, and it's about their travels going up there, and then the rebuilding of their relationship. They've been apart for over 30 years since they were in the military, and they start to build that friendship back up. And you know, in those moments, there are some giggle moments, some smiles. There's nothing really to laugh out loud. I would not call this a comedy. I think it's mislabeled. It's completely a drama with, you know, some moments that you can smile at. Um, I am a big fan of our military. I've said that many, many times. I always think, you know, they should be the highest paid people in the world. You know, police officers, firefighters, military, you know, and doctors, of course. Not they should be paid more than the actors who just portrayed them in this movie. That's for sure. You know, and the actors, I thought Steve Carell did a great job. Normally, I think to myself that Steve Carell in every movie, always funny. He changed a little bit in this one. I thought he did a good job of portraying the father, a broken father and husband. So I thought that was good. Lawrence Fishburne and Bryan Cranston's always good. He can really adapt to his roles. So I enjoyed the acting. But the movie wasn't what I was looking for. I thought there was going to be a lot more laughs. I was hoping. I understood it had a serious plot to it. But it kind of emotional the whole way through. All the way to the end, to the final scene. So if that's what you're looking for. And I also think maybe those of you who have served our military, first of all, thank you. And have built these relationships over years. And I think this would be a good movie for, maybe, I don't know, because I wasn't in the military and I haven't experienced these things, but it might be really good for you veterans out there or people who are currently enlisted. Maybe you would enjoy this a lot more as well. For that aspect of it, but keep in mind it is not an uplifting movie by any stretch of the imagination. So go into that with that mindset. Don't go in because it's labeled as a comedy thinking, hey, it's Friday night, I want to laugh and I'm going to turn on Steve Carell and Bryan Cranston. That's not going to happen. You might smile once or twice, but for the most part, you know, it's not the most uplifting movie ever. So I won't go into too much more detail. I think you have a good idea of what the movie's about. So I think this should help you make a decision if you wanted to watch it. So I do think it's a worthwhile movie to watch. I'm probably going to give it a 7. And it's not so much, you know, this is another one of those movies where I'm not rating it based on how well the film was made and how great the acting was, and you know, the cinematography and all that stuff that goes on to it. I'm not rating it on that. It's based on what I like about a movie. So this is my rating, not the, you know, official rating, whatever. I don't know, but you know what I mean. So if you might like these types of movies, you might be in a mood for this type of movie, and then I encourage you to watch it. But I do think it's worthwhile. It's just not what I was looking for tonight. But there you have it. Let me know what you think if you watch it. Hit the like button, comment, whatever. Thanks for tuning in. KimmelsIrishPub.com.